Hey, what's going on out there, folks? Rooster here in Tennessee, looking at an Interceptor 50 by Kem-tron Industries. I picked this thing up off of eBay, and I probably overpaid for it, but it's something that I wanted and something that I kind of needed to make a amplifier I've got work. I'm gonna run it with it. This amp's got a single 6LQ6 in it, and I think the output on it's relatively good. I don't know if it's 100% or not, but it's not falling back when I talk on it. It's holding the tune and doing pretty good, so I believe it's okay. And this is a nice little amp. The guy that I got it off of, like I said, I probably overpaid for it, honestly. But sometimes when there's something you want and you haven't seen it in a while, you don't know when another one's going to pop up, so you tend to overpay for things like that. But the guy described it perfectly. It was just as he described it. It's got 4 feet on it, sideband delay, which I'm not sure if it works or not. I haven't hooked a sideband radio up to it, but the meter over here works on it. Hello, test 1 2. And a standby works, standby switch in the middle, on and off, obviously. We know what that does. And it's just got a single tuner on it. Now, I played around with this thing. I tuned it with a carrier, just tuned it for max AM carrier. And then I tuned it for peak output power with a audio going into it, just audio and for peak forward power. And no matter how you tune it, it tunes out the same. So I tuned it for carrier first and then tried to audio into it and get some more peak power out of it, and it didn't change a bit. So either way you want to tune this thing, it tunes out the same. And I've got a Cobra 29 over here that Gump's been a hold of, but it's a Chinese model, and some of the Chinese models aren't real powerhouses. Some of them do. Some of them you can't tell the difference between a Philippines, a Chinese, and a Taiwan. They all do the same power. But this one is a nice radio, but it doesn't do a lot of power. I think directly to the bird meter, it does like 7 watts average and maybe 30 watts peak or something, so it's not really strong. And passing through this amp, I believe it's doing like 6 watts average. So anyway, it ended up being a perfect candidate for what I'm wanting to do. I'm wanting to put this Interceptor 50, drive it into a Kem-tron DTR 1200, which, if you don't know what that is, it's a bass amp made by Kem-tron that has a pair of 572Bs in it, and recommended drive is a 30 watts carrier for that Kem-tron. So 120 watts peak and a 30 watts carrier going into it. So anyway, we'll show you what this little guy does, and I think it'll make the perfect little driver for that Kem-tron. And then maybe kick the Kem-tron into something else, who knows. But anyway, we'll get into it here. We start out on a 50 watt slug, and we've got average power in there, or we've got our peak kit off, so we're looking at average power rather. That's going to be our second scale from the top, so the 50 is 50. We'll go ahead and key up. Turn the volume down on this other radio. Hey, you watch it fall into place there just a little bit. Hello. Dropped our carrier down some. Hello, how are you? Keying about 22 watts. Audio. Swing about 25, 26. Shushing the same. Audio 1 2. See how we change our voice peak? It brought it on up on the average power. So if we ooh into it, it does about 30 watts average, and that's about right for that Kem-tron as far as the average output power. Let's see what it does peak here. Still 50 watt slug. Key it on up there, over 20 watts. Carrier audio, 50 watts in the corner. So what we're going to do is pop that 50 watt slug out and put this 500 watt slug in. Now we've got a 500 in there. Still looking at the middle scale, peak power. Hello, audio, 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 audio. About 75 to 80 watts peak. So we're probably going to underdrive the Kem-tron just a little bit, but it'll cruise into it there and should give us some decent output power. And this thing could use a fresh tube in it. Who knows? I don't know that 6LQ6 in it's perfect. It could probably use replaced, probably an older tube. So anyway, that's it. Interceptor 50, Kem-tron Industries. Just thought I would share something with you guys that's actually not for sale, rather than posting something up for sale. I do like to share stuff that's not necessarily for sale sometimes, just to show off some radio equipment here. And I may hook that Kem-tron up with this thing and drive it into it and see how it does. I just put some spare tubes into it, some new tubes in it, so should be interesting to see what it does too. But that's it, guys. Interceptor 50, Kem-tron Industries. There she blows. Hope you guys enjoy the video. Questions, comments, complaints, let me know. And catch you guys out there on the band. See you, bye.